And you guys are mic'd, so we can get started. So, Don, you're from Elemental Path.
Edwin the Duck.
That's me.
There you are. Awesome. Okay. Don, you're from Elemental Path. And you are going to talk about smart toys. We're talking really smart toys, because that dinosaur has Watson. So I'm hoping you'll give us a demo. John, you showed us that computer, that robot. Yeah, that
Pal opened the show.
Yeah, and so there's been quite a few robots downstairs. I don't know if you guys have noticed them, but they're getting smarter and they're doing more, and I'm hoping you can give us a point of view on that. You also were at SRI.
That's correct. That's how it started.
Yeah, and so you're a PhD in?
Basically electrical engineering and physics.
A hyper geek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't get out much either, you know, so.
And Edwin the Duck has been the star of the show downstairs, and he has a panda friend.
He does. Among other things, Edwin's little sister, Ellie, and other characters, and a TV show coming this year.
Holy cow. So we're really interested in the implications of putting a connected Internet of Things toy in your child's bathwater. Doesn't that just creep you out a little tiny bit?
Not at all. Not at all. It's a rubber duck.
It's a rubber duck.
It's where it belongs.
And it does float.
It does. Waterproof as well.
But you've introduced some new things, so we want to hear about that. So I just want to we've got 14 minutes, and I'd like to just run down and have a conversation about tech companions. And so who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go.
Sure. So, we started with Edwin the Duck a year ago, and we tried to take a nostalgic product.
Where's Edwin?
He's on his way. He was just up here.
All right. Please bring a squishy Edwin and start passing him or her around.
So guys, if you can imagine a traditional looking rubber duck, ours is slightly larger, and we've put technology in it. If you don't know what it is, we're in booth 44747 downstairs or the second level in the sands. And we wanted to bring a personality to technology and create an entertainment experience and an educational experience at the same time. And for the past year, we've done that, and we've expanded on it this year. We're going to be releasing Edwin's TV show this year, and the next generation of our toy is going to actually interact with the TV show as well as the child.
With the TV show as well as the child, how's that going to work?
Both with verbal and visual interaction. So we'll have cues within the show that make the toy react, talk, in fact, as well as verbal from the child to the toy.
What are those cues?
Well, we're gonna release it and show it soon.
You're not going to tell me.
I haven't seen it fully function yet.
Is it audio or electromagnetic?
It is a photosensing cell that enables it from color. Yes, it's light-based.
Interesting.
And Bluetooth, depending on what application we're using.
It's been really interesting to see these high-tech, low-tech ways of bridging the gap between the screen, whether it's the big screen or the little screen, and the toy or products. It's been very fascinating. You have any other headlines that you want to make?
Edwin has his own band called the Wingmen. They are performing in our booth, and they are actually the hosts of the TV show.
Very cool. By the way, bad jokes are highly encouraged today. I mean, we applaud that.
That's how we get noticed. Everybody thinks a rubber duck is a bit of a joke at first, but once you get a chance to experience it, you'll see how we're creating an interactive experience that you kind of forget about the technology because of the songs and stories and games and the overall experience we're creating.
Have you improved the app since last year?
We're about to improve it tremendously.
Good. Because one of the things I like to see as a reviewer is products that get better, and you can iterate and you can continually update the software and firmware, so it's good. Okay, thank you. Don, I'm sorry, who's next?
Don or John? John and Don.
Yeah, you guys are just confuse me. Doctor.
Okay.
Right?
You can call me Dr. John, yeah.
Dr. John. Up there we have the stats on that robot.
Right.
Okay. I can give this to you. I don't know if you've got more stuff. No, that's it. Okay. So, what do you got?
So, Should we just describe it a little bit? Well, it's a fully functional humanoid robot. One of the distinguishing factors is we want to make a robot that was really also affordable for ordinary families, not just institutions. Something that's more of a price point of like $1,500 rather than $8,000, $9,000, or $10,000. And you can see it has quite a bit of capabilities, many motors, sensors for obstacle detection, cameras to do various activities. And it has several potential applications. One specifically for children is it can entertain, it can dance with children, it can talk to them, it can help them connect to their friends through video chatting, et cetera, et cetera. But for the parents, maybe even more importantly, it's a good educational tool. It can, for example, teach spoken language learning like a teacher does, speaking, gestures, et cetera. And also, it's a safety monitor. A mother at work can actually use her smartphone to actually control the robot, at home, see what the child is doing through the robot's cameras in the eyes, connect to the child, or any other thing that would help them connect, get better in touch with the child. And similarly, the child can actually, say, hey, call mom, and the robot will put them in connection with mom. So it's a companion, an educator, and a safety monitor. For your child. Other applications, we recently did prototyping in elder care facilities, which is another big area that we're going after. And we've had interest from things like retail stores where they want the robot to actually greet a child at the door, entertain them, tell them about the products, and convince them to buy something. And so there are a number of applications like that.
Yeah, so how much does it cost?
Around $1,500. Yeah, I should say that we're shipping in China first. It won't actually be shipping in the U.S. until the middle part of this year, summer 2017.
Okay, and it's really, we saw him last year, or her.
Yeah.
Any changes since?
Well, we've got, the biggest thing that we've underestimated was just the difficulty in manufacturing.
Yeah.
And so we've added a lot of new content, mostly so far on the Chinese side. So it has a fully functional, conversational interface, lots of content, all the things that go along with it. But we're behind in terms of putting out the English version. In fact, we had hoped to be able to announce an English version, at this show this year, but we're about 6 months behind. And it turns out it's a complex device that, being sort of a theoretician, a software guy, I'm learning how difficult it is to actually manufacture something real.
It's so much easier to stay in theory.
Yeah, just to write.
I think the overall trend that we're seeing from year to year here is that Moore's Law is driving this whole category, both in cars and all the gadgets we see out there. But it is starting to wash into children's toys, whether it's a rubber duck or it's a dinosaur or it's a large robot, because microprocessors are cheaper, faster. RAM has dropped in price. Battery technology alone has done some amazing things. And the LEDs inside Edwin, right? How much would they have cost 10 years ago?
Well, I don't know the LED price, but I can tell you the product alone in the last 12 months cost has dropped over 50%.
Yeah, and they've gotten brighter. It's really, you as designers and developers have more tools and more options than you've ever had. It's a good time to be in this space, probably.
Yeah. And actually, another big part for us is sensors are getting much better and a lot cheaper too. The ultrasound, the infrared, all of that stuff is getting a lot.
But the big story with the Echo and all of that is the AI. And we've got a Watson-driven dinosaur.
Yes.
So, Don.
Yeah, a lot of sort of the themes that you're both hit on with sensors, hardware, intelligence in devices, what really drove us to build Cognitoys. So what you're seeing here is the first version of the Cognitoys, which is a little dinosaur, a lot like a Siri or Alexa for kids, but instead of being a digital assistant or a personal helper, we wanted to take the opportunity to use that type of technology to teach and entertain kids. So games, stories, knock-knock jokes. The Dino actually has sort of a witty, smart-aleck personality.
Can we go to the document camera and we'll have a look at, what's his name?
It's whatever the kid wants to name the dinosaur.
I love that answer. I asked Mitch Resnick once at MIT, what's the name of the cat, for Scratch? And he said, it's whatever you want it to be. And that's the sign of a constructivist. That's pretty scary, isn't it? Oh, sorry.
I hope you are having a great day. Would you like to hear a New Year's song?
No, thank you.
problem. What should we do now?
What is your name?
You can call me Bigley. Bigley the Dino.
Your name is Stumpy.
Okay, you may call me Stumpy from now on. Stumpy the Dino.
Can you tell me a joke?
Okie dokie. Why do milking stools only have 3 legs?
No idea. Please be clean.
Cause the cows got the udder. Wanna hear another?
No thanks.
All right, that was fun. What would you like to do now?
I'm gonna go to school now. Taking a risk on that one.
Donald, they're gonna go to school now sound so distinguished.
You're funny.
Thanks, I try. If you ever want to hear a joke, just say, tell me a joke.
So that's some of Cognitoys.
Thank you. If you could switch back. So Don was able to get the, what's his name again?
Stumpy.
Stumpy online, and so that was a key part. So the interaction that you saw a toy and a guy talking, but what was really happening is the internet somehow got between. So can you explain to the novice how that whole thing worked?
Yeah, so basically this is a lightweight device that's really just an interface to our cloud platform, which is where all the processing is happening. In terms of cost and hardware sensors, it is all coming down, but there's no way we'd ever be able to store all the data to make that type of engagement happen on a device. So these are retailing for $99.99 right now. It'll stay at that price point, although we're adding a ton of new features for this year. But all the processing is being done on the cloud. We're trying to understand how well a kid can do in math or science to push new content based on the kid's interests, likes, and dislikes. It is a really complicated technology platform. We're pulling in content from probably a dozen different sources right now and then filtering them to make sure they're kid-friendly. So if you ask the Dino or Stumpy, where do babies come from? We know where babies come from, but it's not necessarily something that we want our toy teaching a kid. So it cracks a joke and actually says something like, dinosaur eggs, or that's what I've been told. You should probably ask an adult on that one.
So we're going to wrap this panel, but I'd like to ask all 3 of you to just respond to what's next. What are we going to see this time next year?
I think I already kind of let it out of the bag, but a group of toys that look like our cartoon characters that we're about to release that interact with one another, as well as the people that are using them with or without the tablet, which is similar to what the dinosaur's doing, but in a slightly different way.
Okay.
Okay, I think next year the robot's actually going to be available to buy. That would be a big improvement for us. But also, I think the major thing, something I think you alluded to earlier, so the interacting and the conversational ability of the robot, I think that will continue to grow in more and more importance and be a big part of what the future products will be.
So AI will get less artificial.
Yeah.
So we just rolled out toddler mode, which actually takes the Dino and dumbs it down a little bit if it can't understand a kid's speech. So a lot of kids have broken utterances, and now toddler mode will allow kids that aren't forming full sentences to actually get a similar engagement, just not as advanced. We're launching the 2nd generation in September into retail that has new LEDs, hardware sensors, ambient light sensors, so the Dino can do things like night light, or if a kid asks what colors make up a rainbow, the LEDs will animate the different colors of the rainbow, and then the dinosaur will ask to be shaken. The accelerometer will pick up the shaking and then animate the rainbow. And we're also launching a panda in China that speaks Mandarin and teaches Chinese children English as a second language.
Questions from the audience? Yes, real loud because this mic hasn't gotten to you yet.
Could you guys speak a little bit to who your consumer demographic is for each of these
Who are the consumer demographics?
Well, for us with Edwin, it is newborn to 5 years old. And really, depending on if the parent or the child is using the Edwin, 0 to 2 is really the parent. because they're using them as a nightlight or a sleep machine. When we get beyond that, that's when the child 2.5, up to about 5, that's where our content and the interactivity takes place for that demographic.
Who's Cogni Toys for?
It was initially 5 to 9, but the presentation before they were talking about age compression. We found a lot of parents were buying this for kids that were younger, 3 to 5, and that's actually why we released toddler mode. So now we're 3 to 9. That's where our content also maxes out.
I think, John, you're going all audiences.
Yeah, and well, but it's really interesting. The one thing I do want to mention is that we do have a children's product, and that's like the 3 to 8-year-old, but we also have an elder care product. And it turns out that there's a lot of similarities between what the requirements are for children and for elderly people who have limited mobility and limited access to the outside world. So actually, there's a lot of similarities between the two. I thought that was always interesting.
Well, guys, you're 3 pioneers, and I wish you all the best on your journey, and may the 2017 be kind to you and to us all. So let's give our 3 pioneers a round of applause.